What up, gang? Let's see what's up. Let's see what's up. Let's see what we can do. Yo, what up, dude? Sub options. My dog. I'm locked in right now because we're at a very, 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 very strong level, right? So the daily opened up here, right? We came down, we made a low on the daily open, and we rejected the daily low and started flying. And then we just came down and almost retested the daily low. We were off by 10 pips to retest the daily low. Now that we just had a 15-minute closure, closing above the most recent range, or closing back above these levels here, we're still respecting this resistance, right? So we kind of have to come down, make a bottom wick, and then keep driving up if this is going to be the bottom. We're probably going to get like a bottom wick forming and then a 5-minute closure above, a retest of this level, and then another push up. So that's what I'm looking for to form here, is some closures on the 5-minute time frame above this level, a pullback, and then a rebreak of the daily high. And I'm going to be looking for the same thing here, a closure above these levels here on the 5-minute with a pullback and then a rebreak of the daily high, and that would give us confirmation that we're breaking above these levels, that this is the daily low, and that we're probably going to come up to fill the rest of this range, or at least these wicks here. We have like 30 something pips until then. The DXY has found a bottom and it's currently about to break the daily highs. Already breaking the daily highs, about to break previous daily highs. So if the DXY continues bullish like this and starts to break this, then gold is going to, that could be some bad news for gold. So that's why we have to be very careful. And gold might start coming down, which means this could be the resistance, the high of the day. Price came up to retest the high, tried to retest the high one more time. If this fails here and we start to break down, that's why this is such an important level, and I want to wait until we start getting some more confirmation. How was your guys' day? Drop a like if you guys are here. Drop a like. So the DXY just tapped, which means the DXY is starting to break highs. If the DXY starts to plummet upwards, then we're likely going to be looking for a push down. Gold and DXY coming up. Let's get those closures to confirm. Nightbot is trash, bro. This shit is so laggy. It's been 20 seconds. It took you 20 seconds, Nightbot. Took you 20 seconds. The fuck do I pay you for? What up, bougie? 33 wins with the money printer, huh? You savage. Interesting. Interesting, 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 my friend. Interesting. Oh, shit. Waking up at 6 in the morning and streaming until like 10, 11 o'clock at night, shit's tough. I need a lot of caffeine, but I ain't a pussy. And I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Let's give it time here. Let's wait for the hourly to close. Hey. After I posted that Trump video on my TikTok, that shit got me like fucking demonetized or some shit. I would be taking this 15-minute money printer or this 5-minute money printer, but there's no range here. I don't have range. I mean, on here you do. Sort of. Not much. We just swept these lows, right? We're starting to break structure and respect resistance, so that's not good. Let's see what happens. So if you guys know anything about coding and shit like that, you can use ChatGPT to code anything. You can literally make a bot that enters and exits on an MT5 for you. How'd you guys do today? Nice. Still down in here from sync and the loss. What's that mean? Ah. Last night's loss was so whack. Today's Wednesday? Yeah, man. I was in a sell here. Or a sell here. And then it had to come up for another top wick, taking me out to then dump. Oh no, this is in the morning. This isn't even... Where was it? Whatever. Fuck it. We're struggling here, but we're maintaining the trend here. We're still respecting these levels of resistance here. We're still kind of chilling right here. Let's see how we break out on this hourly close. I also had my first 100 pip trade today. Not my first 100 pip. I would say my first full closure 100 pip. I was playing around these levels here, so I took a long here and I closed it, and then I took a short here. I closed it for a loss once we broke the highs here. I took another short here, and then I closed it for like another 30 pip loss here once I saw this massive volume candle. But then I saw this close with no top wick, this go close with no bottom wick. We came up, grabbed the top wick, and started flipping bearish the money printer. There wasn't any level to money print off of, but it was the all-time high money printer after a liquidity sweep and a drive to the highs, right? So I was anticipating, I was willing to take another 30-40 pip loss to catch this move down. So I was once I lost like 30 or 40 pips here, I was willing to risk another like 30 to 40 pips. So I stacked on this position here. And then once we had this first bearish 5-minute closure, I waited for, I wanted to see what this next candle did. If this next candle just plummeted down, I wouldn't have been able to get in. But it formed a top wick first, and then I had a sell stop on the break of the low. So we activated my sell stop. I had my TP down here at the bottom of the range. Or sorry, I had my TP at like 50 pips. Yeah, 50 pips, but it was 100 pips on two positions. So I had my TP at like 50 pips, bro. I set my TP at like these lows here. And the second it activated, bro, I put my phone down, I got up on a ladder, I hung up a frame, and when I look, I seen all the notifications for my TP hit. No, I'm tripping. My TP was at 100 pips. I did have a TP right here at the bottom. So I just put in a take profit because I was going to set my phone down and look back at it later. Because we were either going to stop me out or price was just going to dump off the highs. And usually off the highs, we get like 100 pip retracement. So that's why I set my stops at 100 or my TP at 100 pips. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we do here. We broke above these levels. Let's see. Right on the hourly close, the 8 o'clock close, we close with no top wick. This candle barely has a bottom wick, and we're tapping the 1 hour SMA, and we're starting to not do well here. This is not good. Not very good looking, like my dad would say. We have rejected here quite a bit. Are we gonna form a bottom wick and continue up? Because we've respected all of these levels, so we could see another 1/4%, 1/10% move, which for gold, a 1/10% is pretty steep. I didn't see the money printer there. But what level would that have been off of? I guess some of these levels here. I might have missed that money printer. I didn't have that on futures, did I? No, I didn't have it on futures. Let's see. That was a good money printer. We had perfect range to fill. The hourly no top, no bottom wick is a perfect target to come down for the bottom of this range here, which is another 28 pips. So that's actually a good money printer with a good idea. I can't believe I didn't see that. This is also a strong support. Minor, right? It bounced us off to this level, which we came down, we tapped, and now we've rejected this level. We've rejected it once, twice now. We've double topped off this level. Could this be the daily top to come down and create some more range? And maybe start coming down during Asian to test the previous daily lows? Maybe it'll sweep some of these lows here before continuing to come up. The daily is about to flip. We're starting to flip on the daily here. So once we get a flip on the daily, a closure below, and then top wick, and then a push down, that's what I want to see. And then we can really confirm. I might just be doing it on the 1 minute. Let's see. I think I'm going to attempt a sell here on futures. It's completely different here. But I'm anticipating these candles to eventually line up. Yeah, now that we fill that range, I'm going to go break even here. It should just keep plummeting down to the daily lows. We shouldn't see any kind of pullback. We should just see a death drop. One more push down and I'll close. we might get that pullback now. It didn't quite retest the daily lows on XAU. But I'm still expecting the daily lows on GC to be tested. Yeah, this is going to take me out probably on this pullback. $11 pips. Beautiful. Let's see what we do here. If we start to re-break the daily lows and continue start making lows, then I will look for more entries to the downside. I'm updating the win record. 1 for 1, gang. 1 for 1. To ensure this is not a fake out here. We have a lot of resistance here. What is everything? Let's look at these hourlies. How much range do we have to these lows here? Another 38 pips. And here we have another 36 pips to those lows. Let's get a pullback and then a re-break of the low. We have 30 seconds for this 5 to close. Let's see how we close. We gotta close below. Maybe come up, get a top wick somewhere up here, and then come down. Yeah, all the areas are up here. Top wick, top wick, top wick. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a top wick to like here, which would be a top wick for this 5-minute candle. So if we can come up and create that top wick, that would be perfect. Yo, what's up, Dev? Might just re-break the low there, dog. This might just be it. But I can't do that into this support here. I could take the trade on XAU, but not here. Yo. No, it's not the real Donvo. This channel doesn't have any content. No frauds. How many pips to the top here? 47. That man's had that account since 2023. There's really not much range left for a continuation down. Two things. If price is going to reverse and come all the way up to break all-time highs, we're going to reject off this level. We're either going to grab liquidity off this level and then reject, right? Price isn't going to come all the way back down here tonight to then drive all the way up there, right? You see what I'm saying? So it's either we break through this level or we reject. So how do we confirm that? We want to wait for closures. We want to wait to see, are we really going to kind of fill the rest of the range? We have 10 pips to fill the rest of the range, right? So there's 10 pips to fill to the bottom of the range. So if we do re-break the lows, you don't have much range left. We have 47 pips of range left, but we have a early resistance, early support here, early support here, early support here, early support here. That's an order block. We have support here, so we have some resistance that turned to support here. So we have a lot of areas in the way. So it's not clean traffic down the 40 pips like this clean traffic was, right? So the 12 pips or 11 pips that we caught on this range, we were in a 30 pip range where there's nothing but clean, just traffic. Within here to here, where we just took that trade, sorry. What do you notice? Clean, clean, clean. One minor level here, which is why we went break even. Clean, 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 clean. One minor level here, which aligned with this level, which is why I went break even. So if we're truly going to retest the highs somewhere around this area, we would create some support, some type of hourly level. There is no daily levels here, so we've already respected this very, very strongly, which means we could very easily respect any of these levels here very, very strongly. So this is good that we're coming up like this, because now we're forming proper structure, right? On this 5 minute, we don't have that kind of pullback like we do here. So I'll tell you what, if we start to reject this area here, like grab a top wick and then start coming back down, our entry was on this candle here. So look, it is coming up to retest our entry on futures. If this 5 starts to come and start to break down bearish, I'll take a short off this level here. Oof, I ate too fucking much, bro. I think futures has steeper liquidity grabs, and I think this is one of those times, like the same thing that happened last night. Look at how close we are to the daily highs. What's up, Loss? How are you, my bro? Another blessed day. That's crazy options. I mean, I respect the hustle until somebody says something like saying, hey, I don't like what you're doing. That's annoying me. Or, hey, not in my Discord. Or, hey, not in my channel. But nobody says nothing, so. See you. It's just manners. What's gonna happen here? This is some weird price action. Okay, so we came up, we created the top wick for those 5-minute candles that I was talking about. If we start to come down now, that would make perfect sense to retest the lows, confirming the daily highs. Let's get it, buddy. Let's see. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. This is the boring part of the session. We really just gotta wait to see what happens, because we're hovering between the 70 pip daily range, 50 pip on over here, and if we just keep bouncing back and forth, that's not good. But if we continue to break down from here, that's actually pretty decent. Oh, you know what's good about Trump being president that I was just reading? They're not going to hire those 87,000 IRS agents to audit the fuck out of us anymore. So all of you motherfuckers who committed some fraud and people were coming after you, well, guess what? You got another 4 years to be free. What up, Chris? My brother from another mother. How's your family, brother? How's your kid, bro? How's Chris Jr.? That's awesome, bro. Is he a menace, or are you controlling him? Because Danny's kid is a menace, bro. You let him go for a second and he starts running. Anywhere. No matter where, he just starts running. Yeah. Con papá no se juega. Respeto. One minute for this 30 closure. If not, I would have been taking sells there. Manually executing. Because if the way that this is going, it's gonna close with no bottom wick. It needs to close doji, pull up, tap these areas, and then come down. But I'm guessing with this kind of wick that it created, it might not do so, and we might just continue plummeting down. So this was probably the closest thing to the break and retest that we're gonna get with this kind of volume. So let's see. I'll join you next year, bro. Fifteen seconds. Holy shit, I thought Scarface was playing for a second. Say hello to my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. Say hello to my other little friend. I'm the real Scarface, bro. Smoking the Cuban cigars. Big guns. I came straight off the boat. I'm just kidding. I came on a plane. For those of you wondering, I'm a legal immigrant to the United States of America. I came with papers automatically. So, Cuba has had a lot of political prisoners, and basically they're like, oh, United States, you don't like how we're treating our prisoners? Here, take them. So he sent them on a boat, and there was some like prerequisites and shit, but my grandpa was in prison for 10 years, and that's how he was able to get out, and he took my grandma with him. It was in the beginning stages of him being in prison for his 10-year sentence, and my grandpa brought my grandma and her two sons, which is my uncle, my other uncle, and my grandpa's son, because it's my step grandpa. I don't even know how you would say that. And then uh, I was born in Cuba. A couple years later, my dad does the paperwork, and he brings my mom and me over. So my dad and my grandma and everybody came as political prisoners and refugees from Cuba. So that's how we got papers. Hey Chris, what did you say, bro? I can't see it now, fucking bitch. But nah, yeah, that's how I came to the United States of America. And then for maybe about a decade, maybe 15 years, I believe, Cubans had the law wet foot, dry foot. So anybody can send a boat over to Cuba, pick up a few Cubans, the boat would come over here. The Cubans would, if you get caught in the water, you get sent back to Cuba. If you get, but the second that you set foot on dry land and you're walking on the beach, you can literally lay down at the shore and go get your fucking papers the next day. Uh, and then Obama removed it before he quit because Obama was a communist. With Obama removing that rule, look at what happened. He forced Cubans to stay in Cuba. What happens with that? The Cubans that are here, the 3 million Cubans that are in Florida, send money and subsidize all of our family in Cuba, uplifting and keeping the economy up, right? So by Obama removing that rule, he's slowing the immigration from Cuba into the US and keeping the Cuban economy up with US dollars. Literally forcing US dollars because we're not going to let our family die. We're not going to let our family starve. So we have to send them money. And what does the government do with that money when they get paid? They use it to do whatever the fuck they want. So that's how you know Obama is a communist. Because that's literally keeping the Cuban economy afloat. Instead of letting the Cubans drain out, the Cuban economy tanks. It can't survive. The U.S. comes in, puts it as a territory. Puerto Rico number 2. Make it a tourist place. Give all the Cubans citizenship, but no right to vote. The same thing as Puerto Ricans. Come on, bro. Obama screwed that up because you can tell he's a communist. He wants to keep Fidel and all these communist countries alive. Literally, the US could have so many territories. No, bro. The tourism alone in Cuba and the land alone will go up so much in value, each Cuban will be able to sell their home for like $1 million within a couple years. Literally, that will not happen. The tourism, right now in Cuba, if you go to a tourist place and you want to get some beer, they limit you to like 3 or 4 beers per session. So if you're going for lunch, 3 beers per lunch. But if I'm the type of person that I want to drink 10 beers, you cannot do that. If I want to take 5 shots, no, they limit you to 2 shots per person per session. So there's like limits in certain places. And then you go to dinner and they give you a menu and they're like, oh, but tonight we ran out of this and we ran out of this. We ran out of this and we ran out of this. Culture, bro. Culture plays a big part of it, and the majority of Cubans are subsidized by American families. That's not how it is in Puerto Rico. That's why Puerto Ricans are much poorer. They don't have family in America that sends them money like Cubans do. Cubans, what is it? 80% of Cubans have a direct family member in the States. That's not the same way in Puerto Rico. 80% of Cubans have a direct family member in the States. The cost of living in Puerto Rico is also not as cheap as people think. The cost of living in Cuba is dirt cheap because there's nothing. Like right now, my grandpa has air conditioning over there, right? But he can only run it a few hours a day because they shut the power off because that's too much consumption. where Cuba's located, it's in the dead center in between all these major countries. I mean, I don't know. I think that Cuba would do much better. And there's only like how many people are in Puerto Rico? Cuba's got like 5 times the amount of people as Puerto Rico. Cuba's economy is much larger. So Cuba has 11 million people, and 80% of those people have family in America. Tonight at midnight, the 80% off Apex ends. The accounts are still $30 if you guys are interested. Literally the other day, I was gonna go buy one, and it was like $60, and I was like, let me just wait. And then within 12 hours, they had a 50% discount or an 80% discount. The 1 day to pass ends tonight. So that's only for gamblers. Not really gamblers. I mean, like, if you waited all day for a setup today, right? If you waited you needed 3,000 to pass. And if you waited all day for a setup, I know a lot of people saw this trade up here. Let's say I wanted to pass in one shot. We had about 45 pips of drawdown here, which would have been 1,350 of risk, and you have um what's it called 2,500 of drawdown on the account. So that's risking about half of the account. So you would need about 100 pips from this level to pass, which we got 150 pips on this push. So just this one candle would have passed your account if you waited all day today for the perfect swing. Swung the 3 lot from here all the way down. Let's say you wanted to be secure, you could have taken a partial here at 60 pips, taken 2 lots off, which would have been $1,200, and then the last one would have ran another 1,000, which would have been 2,200, leaving you with $800 left to pass the account, which could have easily been done on this reversal on the way back up here, especially with the way that we formed, respecting this level here. We had the perfect break here. So, I mean, it's just one of those things where you can pass it in a day depending on the price action for the day. Yeah, that's the thing. Cuba used to be amazing, bro. This would have been a good trade here. I don't know why I wasn't looking at that. I'm talking shit about Cuba and all this shit. But this closure back above these ranges, bottom wick, flip bullish, break even by this level here. That's 14 pips. Let's see. We have a lot of resistance here. Let's see if we fly through it. I have a lot of clean range on futures till here, which is 32 pips. See if we can get a pullback here. We already broke the daily high, or we retested the daily high. How much range do we have here? Yes, buy stop. Excuse me. Next time I see my grandpa, I'm gonna tell him to tell me the story of how he went to jail. I'm gonna cancel that buy stop. We're gonna wait for this 15 closure. Did you know the USAID wanted to fund a Sesame Street program in Iraq? This is what our taxpayer money is doing, bro. Bro, that shit makes me so mad, bro. So, we have homeless veterans here in West Palm Beach, Florida that are having mental breakdowns, that are walking through the streets saying random shit. And they're going through it. And instead of helping these guys and giving more funding to their federation that can give them housing and food and more VA loans and things like that, we fund a program for Sesame Street in Iraq. What is going on? What is going on here? If any other country hears this, they're like, you're lying. That doesn't make any sense. Why would your country do that? But here we are, the United States of America, and we're doing it. Oh, man. Well, it only makes sense because how well uncorrupt do you think Iraq is? So if you send them like, I don't know, $100 million, you don't think that maybe a million of that, a few million of that is gonna go away to the side to the corruptness, because you can't trust a government from another country that you don't know. You don't know how, if they're corrupt in the States, imagine in other countries that actually are in poverty and need more money than us. We're corrupt here, and the corrupt politicians here are worth $30 million. The corrupt politicians over there are worth like a couple 100,000. So if you send them millions and millions of dollars, you don't think that some of that's gonna go. Like, I read that and I'm like, okay, sure. Sure, we did. And then I go on ChatGPT and I ask, and ChatGPT confirms. And I'm like, huh, where did you confirm from? And then I start reading, and it's confirmed, and I'm like, what? What's the reasoning for this? So I had 2 goals for this month, and I've scratched off one of the goals, which was bring back my funded account from drawdown to break even. My account is currently at break even, but I am doing a top step evaluation here um, to see if I can get another top step account. So my account is out of drawdown, so I can now focus on grinding it to a payout. I think I'm going to be using 4 MGCs on there, or maybe 3. What are we doing here? This was the only good trade. But I'll tell you, the start of this year was fucking shit for me, man. So shit. And look, I'll give you an example of exactly why. The last time that I have a date here on my journal was January 13th, the last time that I wrote anything down or took any notes or journaled anything. The next day was on the 4th, today. So I went almost an entire month without writing anything in my journal, without taking notes, without tracking anything. And what a coincidence that it was the worst month that I've ever had. Why? Because I was taking losses and I was losing, and instead of having track record of data to see why I was taking the losses, I was playing the guessing game and just saying, oh yeah, it was probably because of this, probably because of that. And then when I look back at my actual track record, and I'm like, oh no, I'm just being impatient. I'm just being very, very impatient and not noticing the higher time frame levels, thinking that we're pushing out when we're really not. So I have to be more in tune with the higher time frame levels to make sure that I'm in clean range when I'm scalping. And what did I do? I did that, and my account came out of drawdown, and I'm halfway through, or a quarter or a third of the way through another evaluation. I'm scaling the fund and I'm gonna fucking grow that shit incredibly. We're fucking doing it, gang. So what are you gonna do here? Right? It's when you don't take your setup, or when you take, let's say, yeah, bro. Or like right here, when we took we had the re-break of the high here, we're at a major level of resistance. I would probably wait for a second tap or a second try. You know what I mean? Whereas before I would have been entered on the break of the high here because it would have entered me. And I would have been in drawdown 18, 19 pips. And then now hovering kind of break even, hoping it comes back up to re-break the highs. Instead of just watching it, not being in drawdown. And if we do come up to start to re-break the highs, I will have my buy stop set. Which means that this gold here will continue and start to break the highs. But we really have to confirm this level here, which is a 15-minute resistance. It's heavy. What other streamers are live right now? $2.2K watching.
$319 on our balance. We are only one trade away from $10,000. Let's move on to it.
What the hell? How does that have 2,000 people watching? I have a buy stop here. Come on, break even here. I don't like the hourly, no bottom wick. If it's not flying here, this might not be the drive. It's gotta pop like now. If we start to reject here on this 1 minute, we're getting the money printer starting to form, and that's not good. We're rejecting the daily high, rejecting a major level of resistance. This isn't the breakout. The daily high volume isn't what I was expecting. Yeah, it makes perfect sense if we get stopped out break even here. We're starting to form some resistance here. It'll probably come down maybe to these levels here, which it already did, so probably wouldn't want to do it again if it's going to keep driving. So if we're truly bullish, I don't think we're going to get stopped out here. If we can survive the next 2 minutes, I think the hourly closure is going to give us a nice pop. There's that pop. Look at that beauty. "30 seconds, gang. Let's see if we can get another push up." "20 seconds. Dump or pump? Any of you guys in this trade? It's a better trade on. Better trade here. Nice. I'm expecting more than a 10 pip pop though. You know what I'm saying? I'm expecting like a 20, 30, 40 pip pop to break the highs and then reject if it's not going to do so. So it's slowly trickling up. If we re-break the high one more time and get another push, I'll close. Yeah, we're closing here. 12 pips. 22 pips for the night. Let's update the record. That's probably gonna hit full TP. And that's the pop that I'm talking about. And that's when you know when the daily high is going to actually pop or reject. So we have made back a third of the loss from yesterday's stream. Look at that, bro. Look at that drive. Look at that. From entry to here, that was 22 pips. I closed it at 12 right here. 2670. You fucking savage. Nice. I got in up here. Careful here now. You see how we just had this fat wick rejection? We might come down to these levels again and then drive back up. And if that's the case, we can probably get an entry because this hourly doesn't have a bottom wick. This hourly does not have a bottom wick. So what do you guys see here? I had this written closure above or break since the beginning of the stream. Closure above, break of the high, took the entry. Beautiful, beautiful, easy breezy cover, girl. Honestly, what time is it? We got another hour of the session left. Let's see. We have a lot of resistance here though, right? We're not into clean range anymore. We are not in clean range anymore. We have broken above all of these levels. We have cleared all of this. We're at an order block right now, which is a major high here that's causing the resistance in this pullback that we're seeing here. If we were to break through that, we would have to bounce off some sort of recent support, where the most recent supports are all the way down here where we already bounced off of, or we're going to have to turn a previous resistance into support, which is this level that we're already at, right? So we're either going to have to come back down, make this support, bounce off this level, and then re-break the high so we can get an entry maybe somewhere here, and then you can probably get another scalp entry on the re-break of the high. That is something that we could be interested in. That would also be trying to give us a bottom wick for the hourly candle before a continuation up. So that's something that we could be looking at here. Eddie, what do you think? I'm using spot. I have a method based on what we see. Did it create a real daily high? I have a method based on what I see. We did create a real daily low yesterday, but we created a low at 28.59. So everyone can see if that low breaks, price will dump. We created a low at 28.59. Right. So knowing that, right? Knowing that this low is very, very strong, right? And knowing that if this low breaks, price will dump, you can say, okay, what is necessary for that low to be broken? What do the candles need to look like? What does price need to do before these candles need to break, right? We didn't have a top wick on this 4-hour candle. We just came up, grabbed the top wick for the 4-hour, and now we're flipping bearish. If we're gonna break this low right here, what needed to be done? We needed to grab a top wick for this 4-hour that didn't have a top wick. So liquidity needed to be grabbed. So when you see no top wick here, you could basically see this as empty orders that need to be grabbed. What happened? Price dumped, came all the way back up, grabbed liquidity right at this top wick area, and started rejecting instantly. This could be the top of the day for that continuation down, right? And if it is, it makes perfect fucking sense. So knowing that price is most likely going to come down and start breaking these lows eventually, what needs to be done first for that to look clean? We need to come up, create a top wick for this, create a top wick for this, and then flip bearish. So knowing that, I can take my buys up into this area and then my sells back down from that area. So that's why I have this candle on the screen. This level, the daily high, the daily low, and the daily open are very, very strong indicators of volume. So what's going to happen? You're either going to break through your daily range, your daily high, or you're going to reject your daily high. Very rarely does price hit the daily high and then just start to consolidate right here at the daily high. Very rarely. You see it either break through or reject. So when you start to, how did I take the buys coming up? Because we were breaking the highs in an uptrend, continuing to create higher highs, higher lows, respecting the previous resistance and turning it into support, doing the same thing. We created a high, a low. This candle wicked into this previous high, turning it into support, and that's when I took the rebreak of the high. So we just continued to form perfect structure, rebreaking the daily high above this most recent level here. So that's when you know that what's it called, that the daily high is gonna actually break through instead of reject. Now with this formation, you have a chance to go break even very early, because if it is going to reject, you're going to get a pop of at least like 30 pips. You see how this drove 37 pips from our entry? You're going to get a decent pop. So you know that you got to go break even pretty quickly, because if price doesn't continue flying through, you're going to get a reversal off this area, because it is the daily high and you might have found the daily high itself. Knowing that, you can scalp to that level, close, and wait to see what happens. Now that this 4 hours flipping and price is driving south and it's starting to come back down now, I can anticipate some sells off these levels up here, especially if this 15 starts to flip bearish, right? Because that would indicate that that price has found the daily high and it's now starting to come down. But you also want to see if price is going to continue bullish, it's likely going to come down to these levels here, bounce, and then start driving up. It's going to create support here and then continue to drive up, which gives you about 18 pips for the sells here if we were to have taken the sells off this level here, or maybe off this 15-minute flipping. This 15-minute flips bearish to grab a bottom wick, and you have like 13 pips to the before this you get to this range here, which is another decision-making level. We can now turn this resistance into support and continue up, or we can respect this as a resistance, break below, respect it as a resistance, and then come down. So those are different ways you can anticipate these movements, right? So very tricky here. What is this 30? No top, no bottom wick on that 30. We're getting that money printer. Let's see. So this level is key. Are we going to respect this as support and start coming up? Or are we going to turn it into a resistance and start coming down? Which, if we are, we could start looking for some sells with like stops very low at the daily high. Did we sweep yesterday's high? No, we didn't sweep anything. What about the 4 hours? We did sweep the previous two 4-hour highs. Yeah, based on needing more liquidity to continue down, that's definitely possible. Looking here at the 1 minute and the 5 minute, knowing that this push down gave us like 20 pips last time. 78 pips here. Oh, is that 78 pips? What the fuck? Yeah, it is. If we start to reject the daily high here, what do we know about the daily high? The daily high is a volume area, so we're either going to re-break the daily high and continue pushing up, or we're going to reject it. So knowing that we're at a major level of resistance here on the higher time frame, what can we probably expect? Maybe some sort of push down here, maybe a 50 pip push down, or something of that nature before a continuation down. So look, we're starting to get the scoop here. So the push down might not be long lived, right? It might just be a scalp. How much range do we have here? We have 5 pips there. Let's see if we start to re-break these lows or if we respect this as support. At 15, if we do break those lows, would look very clean. Let's see. I'm gonna take a sell here. I'm not gonna let it push too much. This could be a slight little fake out, but in the chance that it's not, and we actually get to scoop down, we have like 16 pips of range here. Especially with this 30, no top, no bottom wick. Looking to fill almost the whole thing, to be honest. It's 15 already flipped here. The 5 already flipped, already broke the low, but it's only a minute and a half into the 5. So if we start to, I'm gonna close this trade out break even. I'm waiting for an actual push down, a break and retest. Looks good, but that's no bottom wick. No top wick, no bottom wick. Money printer to this level, which is a previous resistance. Yeah. That would have gave me like 6 pips, so I would have probably went break even there. 1 hour late candle. Yeah. But we didn't really tap anything of, we did tap something important, but now it's a 15-minute no bottom wick. And now we're creating the money printer on the way up after retesting this resistance basically. So let's see. It's actually Let's see what we do here. What do you guys think of that Yahoo guy? The net income Yahoo guy, whatever his name is, net Yahoo. Yahoo! YUH? Yeah! Sounds like me when my stop loss get hit. Yeah! No! Since I was too busy to catch up, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what happened. Hi, bro. You only operate in Asia daily? I made 570 use with your entry. Thank you. Hell yeah. USD. Hell yeah, you savage. You're a savage. I trade only New York session, or sorry, only Asian session on stream, but I also trade New York. You can catch me trading New York with Wix9. You can look him up, Wix9. Without that W. And then I trade in the morning with him. Sometimes I'm on the camera with him. He's my mentor. I would really like for this to flip bullish. If this can start coming up to re-break the highs, that would be pretty nice. Hey. You think it's gonna dump? Don't be afraid to warn me. Say, hey Eddie, don't. I think it's gonna dump. If you think I'm un anormal, then you tell me, hey brother. Hey brother. I think that we've had so in my opinion, I think that we have met the full requirements for the dump. I think that we've already created the top wick for this 4 hour. We've already created a top wick for this 4 hour. We've already grabbed liquidity in order to drive off of. So this pump down could be what we're looking for. So what do we have? The 30-minute. I'm gonna take a sell here. This shouldn't come up back to the daily highs here. We should get a fucking dump down here. We might see a little bit of drawdown at first, but I think we should get a good dump down here. My initial entry, like we're getting more confirmation as we go. We just have so much range to the bottom. ¿Hablas español? Soy de México. Wix9 es en donde lo busco y ahora y a qué hora me puedes repetir. Wix9 hace la sesión de Nueva York por la mañana, de 8 de la mañana hasta las 10 y pico más o menos. Algunas veces no se encuentra la página de él. Porque YouTube parece que lo tiene bloqueado a veces. Entonces cuando la gente lo busca no lo encuentran. Entonces yo te pongo el link aquí. Can when you guys drop the Wix 9's link? Lo único que la mayoría de la gente que están aquí hablan en inglés, entonces yo empiezo en inglés, pero en el futuro, cuando yo tenga más audiencia en español, yo sí voy a hacer algunas sesiones en español y empezar a hablar en español, porque yo tengo familia que también quieren aprender, mucha familia que quiere aprender, y en vez de enseñarle uno en uno y yo no tengo tiempo para eso, le puedo decir que vengan a YouTube y que me empiecen a ver aquí. Gracias, gracias. Sí, yo trato de practicar el español mío porque yo hago ventas y a veces hago ventas en español también y tengo que practicarlo bastante. Vine chiquito desde Cuba, pero todo el español que he aprendido lo he aprendido aquí. YouTube en Spanish es YouTube. Once this breaks the low, I'm going break even. It should. We should have no reason to come back up here. If we do, and I get stopped out and then it dumps, it's straight. I don't like that volume. It didn't quite give us 10. Damn, it wicked me out. No bottom wicks there, bro. No bottom wicks are ugly. See how, for me, they're so important for scalping? Because now this trade's probably going to go into drawdown. I don't want to be in drawdown. I want to be at the perfect entry at the best time. I don't want to sit in drawdown. I don't want to sit in pullbacks. I don't want to sit in none of that. Three minutes for this 30 closure. Yeah, my B got hit. This one wouldn't have gotten hit probably if I would have left it. I manually closed it because we weren't far enough into profit. I mean, it did. So this was my break-even level, right? So you can see how my break-even works. My break-even level was right here, right? As soon as price taps that level, we should not come back to my entry at all. So what did price do? It never came back to my entry. And that's the same idea here. I kind of market executed this one a little late. I think that the entry should have been here on the break of this low, which then would have been a little bit more precise here. This trade wouldn't have hit my entry, and I would have been much deeper in profit. I would have been 17 pips in profit, which I would have most likely closed. So now that we've hit this level here, which is a strong level that we pushed down off of, let's see how we react. We're going to have a 30-minute closure coming up. The 30-minute closure is going to be bearish. If we can get a top wick to this area or a top wick and then a flip bearish, then I would continue the sells down. But because we're going to need something to bounce off of, and these levels don't seem to be strong enough to bounce off and continue re-breaking the highs. We've already created a high here, failed to drive, created another high, and it barely drove, and then we created another high, and now we're rejecting. So after all these rejections of the daily high, are we really going to continue pushing up? Possibly not. So unless we get like a massive candle down on this 30-minute, that would ruin my idea. But I'm hoping that we can keep this low here. The 30-minute close is bearish. We get that top wick, and then on the break of the 30-minute low, we can get an entry, maybe a higher up entry. Let me use the bathroom real quick. 30-minute closure. We got a 30-minute bearish closure here. 30-minute bearish closure coming up. 30-minute bearish closure at once. Go ahead, been a 30-minute bearish closure coming twice. 30-minute bearish closure on the third time. Sold to yo mama. We're not closing below these levels. I'm not looking for sells. If you get on the voice chat right now, stream will get a sneak peek. Body butter gang. I fuck with you guys. The difference with me is that you're gonna see similar setups, right? Because Market Mechanic and I have been talking to each other and like trading alongside each other. Like he says, like he locks in a little bit more now and talks a little bit less in the chat, but we were talking so much more and like giving out our ideas and explaining what we thought and things like that. And I started to get a real feel for his ideas and his trade ideas and his levels, and I started to get an understanding of his levels, and I actually incorporated some of the things that some of his trading styles and his levels into my own, and I've been using it to scalp, and that way when I scalp, I can scalp these levels so precisely that I can catch the top or the bottom very, very cleanly with the scalp. So I'm working on gathering my data with that, so that I can start holding my trades for longer. Like all the trades that I took today, that except for the one that went break even, both of them drove 20 pips. So I'm not closing at 10 pips anymore. I'm closing anywhere between 10 and 20 now. So I'm pushing it to like 18 pips, 17 pips, 20 pips. So on these two, from that loss yesterday, I kind of wanted to secure profits right away and just get some profits under my belt. Even though I'm already back in profit, but on the stream this week isn't. So on this entry here, it drove a total of 35 pips. On this entry here, it drove a total of 28 pips. So I could have held for at least 20 pips on two trades, you know what I mean? So that's something I'm working on. If this would have had a top wick, I would have taken buys here. Futures is like frozen. I might have a buy stop here. Actually, no. How much range? 20 pips to the end of this? I don't like it. We might just come up, tap it again, and then reject it, but it might not even get up there before rejecting again, so I don't think it's a good idea right now, for me at least. Could be though. It's a good trend line break and it's starting to scoop now, so it might give a push. I think the push should have been, entry would have been earlier. Yeah, I'm not looking for buys. Because you can look at it two ways, right? You can look at this trend line break right here, or you can look at this trend line break right here on the retest for sells, right? So you can look at two different things at this very level, and we're at the daily high, and I'm more bearish than bullish, so I think the sells are a little bit better, but we're still coming up, we're still creating higher highs and higher lows. So now that we've respected this low here, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna come down to this low from this entry? That's 26 pips. That's pretty decent to go break even by then, but Wait for this 15 closure and see what happens. See if we can get a back closure and at a back down here. Mañana en vivo es a las 8 de la mañana y la zona Nueva York. I'm gonna take a sell here. See if we can get a dump here. I'm closing that break even. I'm not liking this. Wait for this 5-minute closure. faked out, huh? Good thing I closed it. I didn't like it. Yeah, I didn't like this one. I didn't like this one. So it tried to come down twice and it's not doing it. Yeah. 6 minutes, gang. 6 minutes. De 7:30 a 10. If this high wasn't here, and this was forming in this clean range, I would be assuming we're coming up to retest the daily highs, and I would be taking some buys here. But we have that ugliness right there. So we just had a 5-minute closure above the range. Where is this wick gonna be, and is it gonna flip bullish to come back up and retest the highs? We've attempted the sells many times here. It's ugly as shit. Good luck, brother. Forward test some money printer plays. Make that money. I know some of you guys made money. One of you guys caught like 56 pips off of the sells earlier. $29 seconds. All right, so we just had a closure. An hourly just closed. So the hourly closed respecting, oh no, we actually closed above this level. So let's see how steep this bottom wick can be. We just respected that. We came up and tried to break again. We would have been able to pineapple here. Without that top wick on the hourly, I can't take sells. Without that top wick, no cellulars. Huh. I'm calling on President Trump to sign an executive order banning Snoop Dogg from appearing in any form of media for at least the next 5 years. He's in too many things. Nobody knows why. Nobody particularly wants to see him. And yet, everywhere, all the time, it must end. I saw Snoop Dogg doing something with Kai Cenat smoking blunts, and immediately Kai's like, "You're leaving?" And he's like, "Yeah, bro, I gotta get on a flight. I gotta go to an interview tomorrow in Atlanta in the morning to do this, this, and that, and then I gotta go over here to do this, this, and that, and this interview with this, this, and that." En la tarde, ¿a qué hora? De 7:30 a 10 de la noche, más o menos, hora Nueva York, Eastern Standard, zona de tiempo del oeste. Ahora estoy mirando a ver si la vela esta sube para arriba, para coger un poco de liquidez aquí arriba y después bajar para abajo. So right now I'm looking for a price to come up, grab some orders here, and then reverse and start coming back down. I want to confirm daily high, and then we kind of did here, right? So we made the high, we have rejected this area here, we're starting to close below, so maybe we don't need the top wick on the hourly, right? Maybe we just need this to close below, give us some sort of top wick to this area, turning this resistance, confirming it as a resistance, and then another push down, and then we can take a sell. Alrighty, here we have an ugly little closure. We have no top wick. We have no attempt at coming up for a top wick. This was the hourly closure right here. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it, guys. I think this hourly closure... So we do have a wick. We're coming down. We're grabbing orders. If we flip bullish, this does look decent to come up. But with the volume that we have now, I'm not liking it. And that's only 21 pips to the highs here. So, fuck that. I'll probably get on in like another hour and see what's up. But have a good night, everybody. I hope you guys made some money tonight. Closed out break even when I closed out. If not, there was a chance to get out of this trade here when it pulled back. 22 pips, 24 pips for the night. So not bad session. We attempted those sells, didn't work out. We closed immediately. It's kind of hovering back down our entry point here. But have a wonderful night, everybody. Take it easy.